to Wavelength Stream. Hey, you can hear me now. What's up? How the heck are you guys? It has indeed been a minute. Has indeed been a minute. Let me know. Boom, how you been, man? Let me know if you can hear me well. I hope you can. That's the plan, at least, is that you guys are able to hear me well. So that's what I'm hoping for. That is what I'm hoping for, is that you guys can hear me well. Working my in the dirt. Joby, hello? How are you? Hello, hello, hello. How are you, big dog? Very excited. Very excited for this. This is our bread and butter this year, boys and girls. This is our bread and butter this year, is the Dynasty deep dive. Okay? There's no doubt about it. My girl going up to Chicago Thursday for a concert. Oh, yeah, just got home from football weights. Outstanding. I love to hear that. Football weights is, in fact, the best part of football sometimes, outside of playing the game. But, you know, to each its own. No, man, how the heck are you? How the heck are you? Dum, 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 dum. Dum, 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 dum. All right, so we're going to change this from voice chat to the Wave XLR. So then I can turn this up a little. And hopefully you guys can hear me pretty well. Let's just go to here. Hopefully this is pretty good sounding. I am going to turn down. Let's see, is this locked? The browser might be locked. It is. I'm going to turn it down just a little bit for me. But we are indeed going to move over here. Because hopefully I set this up right. It's been a while. Alright, so I'm down there. So yes, I did set it up right. Look at that. And then we do this. Bingo. Hey. We'll take these socials off. Alright. So we got 40 some odd seconds, it says, before this bad boy is live. I'm actually going to disappear. You guys don't need to see me right now. You just need to hear me. You just need to hear me. And then tell me if this is too loud. Is this too loud or is this solid? Too loud or solid? You let me know. Solid? Nice. Joby, are you the head coach out there or are you an assistant? All right, here we go.
Hey everybody, it's Kirk Herbstreit. Improvements to Dynasty and EA Sports College Football 26 are focused around adding authenticity to every Dynasty run, while also delivering on community feedback. For the first time ever, you can start your Dynasty by stepping into the role of one of over 300 authentic college football coaches. To ensure each coach and coordinator's authentic styles are highlighted, we completely rebalanced archetypes and abilities and enhanced playbooks with over 2,800 new plays. So when you battle a CEO like Kirby Smart one week and a program builder like Lane Kiffin the next, you truly feel the difference on the football field. This new depth also offers more options when creating your own coach, giving you more control over the path you ultimately take. A new progression curve offers early career momentum with more sustained growth across a new level cap up to 100. Of course, no coach excels at everything, so hire coordinators who complement your strengths or shore up your weaknesses. and make sure to leverage your staff's active archetype perk to really accelerate your progression. Updates to how coaching archetypes are unlocked, balanced, and expanded make each coaching path even more strategic and distinct. All 3 base archetypes now require a minimum coach level to unlock, promoting focused early investment and making your initial archetype choice more meaningful. New scaling archetype costs encourage more intentional choices as you progress. Now, advancing within your specialty, like moving from recruiter to elite recruiter, is more affordable than a path that requires learning a new skill set. Preserve your Dynasty legacy with the all-new Trophy Room. Showcase every trophy, title, and individual award won throughout your coaching journey, and look ahead at what coveted hardware you still need to strive for. The new College Football History feature serves as a college football history book and lets you compare your program to the all-time greats, adding a new dimension of legacy building to Dynasty. We've revamped the transfer portal to create more realistic player movement, especially among the 4- and 5-star players. Now, from 2,000 up to 3,500 athletes can enter the portal each season, giving you fresh ways to build your roster year after year. New dynamic deal breakers are player expectations that evolve with their talent. That 3-star freshman who is happy with average facilities? If he's an All-American by junior year, he might be looking for top-tier amenities. And whether it's listed as a deal breaker or not, your most talented players may still demand playing time. Some coach abilities can impact dynamic deal breakers, providing strategic recruiting advantages. New dynamic dev traits have a bigger impact on player growth, along with more abilities across 59 total player archetypes for better variety among athletes. And skill group levels increase from 10 to 20, so progression feels more gradual and realistic. Recruiting visits now involve location-based costs. So the further a prospect lives from your campus, the more recruiting hours a visit costs. This simulates an authentic recruiting challenge faced by smaller programs who must focus locally, while powerhouses can recruit nationally. New recruiting battles create high-stakes showdowns when multiple schools are neck and neck for a coveted recruit, and team needs are now front and center on your prospect list, so you always know exactly where to focus your efforts. When it comes to wear and tear, every player now has a seasonal health pool that depletes as they recover. And once it's empty, they can't bounce back until the offseason. New auto subs incorporate different wear and tear strategies, allowing you to customize substitution thresholds and better manage your team's long-term usage. Within custom conferences, the new protected opponents option ensures certain annual matchups, regardless of divisional changes. Preserve key rivalries like Michigan versus Ohio State every year with this feature, up to 2 protected opponents per team. New formation subs provide flexibility to assign players to specific alignments, adding ways to strategically exploit opponent team weaknesses. Take advantage of new position archetypes with up to 50 subs per team, with packages that persist season to season. With crossplay in Dynasty, build your college football empire with friends on any platform. Use the Enhanced Player Hub and new Members tab to effortlessly manage your Dynasty and stay connected. Pre-order the MVP bundle. Includes both EA Sports College Football 26 and Madden NFL 26 for Xbox Series XS and PlayStation 5.
All right. So, first early reviews is that they definitely listened to a lot of the feedback when it came to like the exploitations, right? Recruiting did indeed get the information and the love that it needed. Also, good morning, Monet. How are you? Good morning. How are you? I appreciate you. Thank you very much. It's very exciting to be back. Um, So that's number one. Number two is, yeah, it seems like they're going to make it more difficult overall. You know what I'm saying? Like with all of the new progression, which is really exciting to see that they've got the dynamic dev traits, the dynamic, that the deal breakers are more dynamic, can change. A lot of that stuff looks very, very good to me. I'm waiting on them to drop the campus huddle behind it. That's what I'm waiting on right now. What's up, Lions Den? How are you, sir? How are you, sir? Excited for this game to drop? You and me both, bro. You and me both. I'm just excited for new stuff. I just really didn't enjoy my time with Madden this year like I usually do, which is fine. Whatever, right? Like it just wasn't as fun this year as it has been in years past for me. This is just going to take me to pre-order the game, isn't it? Yeah, I don't care about that. I do not care about that. I want to get to the campus huddle. There it is. It just went live. There it is. Bingo. Here's what I want. All right. Here we go. You get the beta. I have enjoyed the beta. I will say that. Madden beta does seem to be in a much better place. It does seem to be in a much better place. I will say. I'm turning into a Dynasty franchise guy this year. I'm the place to be. I am the place to be. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It has been a lot of fun. All right. Here we are back on the campus huddle, your home for news, information, yada, 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 blah, 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 blah. Dynasty mode. All right. It's time to hear from Chad Walker and Ben Hamler, building on the foundation. All right. So when we set out to design College Football 25, we had a multi-year vision for what we wanted Dynasty mode to become. The journey began by laying the foundation under three core pillars: build your coach, build your program, and deliver the world of college football. I think if we look at it from that standpoint, they did a very good job of doing that last year. So I'm excited to see how they grow on it this year. Build your coach encompasses the decisions you make on your coaching journey to the top of the college football world, whether that's starting as a coordinator at a small school and making a name for yourself before getting that first head coaching job, or starting as a head coach at your dream school. Every decision you make on your journey matters. So here's what I want to tell you guys. Just based off of what we saw in that video, I am going to start out on a small school. Okay? I'm going to start out, if I got one, because my email got locked. I'm sorry to hear that, big dog. Yeah, that is not fun for you at all. I am very sorry to hear that. But yeah, so I am indeed going to start out at a small school, and we're going to start out as a coordinator because two things. Number one, I think I want to make sure that I'm doing everything that I need to do. I want to make sure that I'm doing everything that I need to do to be able to make. Sorry, I'm just trying to make this as presentable as I can for you guys without making me look super small. We'll go on this side, maybe. Probably makes more sense for me to be over here based on where they're at. All right, bet. I'm gonna start out at a small school. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. Sorry. All right. I'll be starting out at a smaller school, um, and I'll be putting up videos leading up to when that game drops on the 7th. The thing that stinks for me is that I have a work requirement on the 8th, ninth, and 10th. So, like, we'll start on the 7th, and we're going to get into the nitty gritty of it all. But then 8th, ninth, and 10th might have to be YouTube only, and then I'll be able to return back to the streams. But the Summer of Dev is a real thing. It's going to happen. It's going to be in full force. It's just that there, I still have, responsibilities. And if you guys saw my, my video just about why I've been missing and stuff like that, like you kind of understand where I'm at and what I've been talking about and stuff like that. So, there's that. So that's number one. Number two, what was I gonna say? Number two, I just think it's always fun when you do it that way. You know what I'm saying? I just think it's fun when you do the small school journey, and then that's a little bit more fun and gives you longer lasting opportunity for development, for growth, for engagement, and all that jazz. I already know I'm gonna be in a 32-man competitive dynasty where I'm gonna have to be the head coach and all that jazz. So like that, it's fine. You know what I mean? So like we're gonna have that journey, but then we'll also have our own, which will be really fun. Build your program, as the old saying goes. To win in college football, it's not the X's and the O's, it's the Jimmies and the Joes. Recruiting is the lifeblood of college football, and having a consistent winner means you need a roster that is built to reload rather than rebuild. That all starts on the high school recruiting trail, but in modern college football, roster retention and utilizing the transfer portal are instrumental in your ability to field a championship team. Also facts. Delivering the world of college football landscape continues to evolve. In CFB 26, we've pushed to reflect the ever-changing reality of the sport, from custom conferences and scheduling to protected opponents and playoff structure. Whether you're staying true to tradition or reshaping the map, the world of college football is yours to define. How many years do we think? Okay, so I know they obviously already talked about this being a multi-year vision. What year do we think we see NIL money? Because at this point, like, that matters, right? Like, NIL money is in fact a very real portion of delivering on the world of college football now, right? The ever-changing reality of the sport. Do we think that we see NIL money implemented next year? Or maybe even the year after that, once there's a little bit more, once there's a little bit more around it. But yeah, it's got to be soon. It's got to be soon, because it's just too, it is right there. You know what I mean? Like, so like it's got to be soon because it's quite literally right there. You know what I mean? And if they're looking to deliver on that, then that's just the reality of the situation. So they say here college football 26 represents the year 2 of that vision, a year focused on building on the foundation we set and adding meaningful depth to each pillar. It's about evolving Dynasty while staying true to what makes it special. Excuse me. And delivering on the feedback we've heard from our incredibly passionate community. Just like last year, we spent countless hours talking with community members, college football experts, and coaches. We also spent a ton of time watching Dynasty live streams, program rebuilds, wish list videos, and of course, reading thousands of message boards, posts, and tweets. A large part of our research was focused not just on what is discussed, but how the mode is actually played and experienced by our community. Would NIL be like salary cap? So that's what I'm hearing, is that there is a salary cap for NIL money. That's what I've heard, because they've said that like 80% of it would go, 80% of their NIL allowance from every school would go to football and men's basketball. That's like what like came out. Like most schools have already touted that like that's how they're going to use their NIL money. Is that 80% would go towards football and men's basketball, and then 20% would be used on other athletics or whatever the case is. Because as we said last year and still strongly believe today, our team has one singular motto: satisfy the core community because this is their game. I love to see that. I love to see that. I love to see all the new options as far as like how you can design your coach too, because I thought last year it was a little flat. So it's nice to see that they have a lot of options this year, sleeveless options and all that good jazz. So at the heart of Dynasty mode is your coach. Oh, at the heart of Dynasty mode is your coach. Every decision, every upgrade, every hire helps define your journey to the top of the college football world and the legacy you leave behind. Last year, we talked at length about what we learned from studying coaches in depth. No coach is great at everything, and there's no single path to becoming a great coach. That belief continues to shape our approach in college football 26 and remains central to everything we've built. This year, we focused on deepening that experience, introducing more meaningful decision points, and further emphasizing that every decision matters. I love that. So you start with creating your coach. Just when you're starting your dynasty, just like last year, you'll choose between creating your own coach or stepping into the role of an existing one. This year, existing coaches are now authentic real life head coaches and coordinators with more than 300 authentic coaches. Each one comes equipped with their authentic playbook, scheme, play calling tendencies, historical career stats, and archetypes and abilities that reflect their coaching skill set. Throughout your dynasty, you will have the opportunity to compete against these authentic coaches in game and on the recruiting trail. As described in the gameplay deep dive, when you play them on Saturdays, you can expect their play calling and tendencies to match their real world counterpart, adding a new layer of immersion. Of course, you'll also have the opportunity to poach them and bring them onto your staff in the coaching carousel. If you choose to build your own coach, we've added new ways to customize your appearance. New gear options let you show off your drip and deck your coach out in everything from a hoodie and joggers to a quarter zip and jeans. If you're really feeling nicey, you can grace the sidelines with a sleeveless shirt and shorts that lets everyone know you mean business. That's actually hilarious. The next step for me, honestly, would like be like you should be able to have like a practice fit and then like a game day fit. Cause like I would totally rock this around like practice. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know if I would show up like this on Saturdays. You know what I mean? Personally, I don't know that I would show up like this on Saturdays, but it would look cool if you get like practice fit and game day fits. I think that would be kind of dope. We've also introduced coach demeanor and stance customization. Is your coach cool, calm, and collected, or are they high energy, emotionally, or are they the high energy, emotionally charged leader that fires up the sideline? That's me. Your choice will influence how your coach stands and acts throughout the game, giving your coach persona even more personality on the field. I love that. I love that. From the beginning, our design intent for our RPG archetype based abilities and progression system that has been that no coach can be great at everything. How you build your coach and manage your staff matters. Your coordinators either complement your strengths or shore up your deficiencies. This intent still holds true in CFB 26, and we have continued to expand upon it. Last year, we saw players hitting the level cap too early, maxing out progression well before the later years of their dynasty, which was not what we intended. While we still believe you cannot be great at everything, your coaching journey should evolve over time, with new decisions and challenges emerging each season. In college football 26, the maximum coach level has been increased from 50 to 100. Additionally, we've completely rebalanced the amount of XP each goal earns to better reflect its frequency and difficulty. We've also introduced a new level progression curve designed to provide early momentum while creating a much longer tail of growth. You'll still see meaningful development in the early years, but reaching the top now requires sustained success across the full arc of your coaching career. Again, I think that's a great addition. Last year, I think I saw some folks had the game for a week, week and a half, and they were level 50 already, right? Like that's how a lot of the stuff that came out that was exploitable and so on and so forth happened, was because literally dudes were getting stuff done in the first 10 days of having the game, and then it was just like a free for all after that, right? Because you know how it works. You get bored, you get to a point, and now you're going to figure out how else you can get those things done, how else you can exploit those things, so on and so forth. You know what I mean? So I'm excited to see that they again noticed that last year, and are going to make the proper changes, because in the long run, that just helps everybody have more fun. Whether you're looking at it on a competitive side or you're looking at more on a casual content creation side, exactly what it says. It sustains growth, it sustains engagement, it sustains you needing to still be able to actively, pay attention to your recruiting, pay attention to the way that you're showing up on Saturdays, pay attention to your opponents, pay attention to your star players. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just allows you to stay more engaged and more, uh, yeah, just allows you to stay more engaged and more excited overall, for the development of yourself along with your program. So I think that's a great idea. Progression is heavily influenced by your active archetypes perks, and we've rebalanced all archetype perks to improve overall balance and create more distinct trade offs. Among the three base archetypes, recruiter, motivator, and tactician now offers the highest XP ceiling, but only if you're consistently winning. It also carries the greatest downside if you're not. Conversely, motivator and recruiter will provide a more consistent gain but a lower ceiling and maximum upside. The amount of XP from each archetype perk now scales by archetype tier. Elite archetypes, so Elite Recruiter, Master Motivator, and Scheme Guru, offer double the amount of XP as the three base archetypes. Hybrid archetypes, such as Talent Developer, Strategist, and Architect, offer more than elite archetypes, and Program Builder and CEO can offer upwards of 10 times more XP than a base tier archetype. In order to quickly and efficiently scale your coach level and power, it is imperative that you invest in higher level archetypes and then focus on activating that perk as many times as you can. So, for instance, Kirby Smart is a CEO, and he is an elite ed coach who has won a national title. His archetype perk is Big Game Bonus. He gets 12,500 bonus XP for playoff wins, which is pretty fire. And it based on this map, this chart here, it didn't take him a whole lot of work to become a CEO. So like that's also interesting. I'm interested to see like what all, because like what's he got? One, he's got the recruiter. This one is the motivator. This is the tactician. I'm not sure which one this one. I don't remember exactly which one this is. Like so, he's only got four archetypes unlocked, and clearly he's a recruiter here, right? So like with that being said, like you being able to lock into your specific scenario seems to really make a difference as well. Remember, your staff doesn't just help you with their abilities, their active archetype perks contribute to your XP growth as well. Anytime your team triggers one of your coordinators' perks, you share in the XP gains. So, choosing the right coordinators can significantly increase your progression speed. As part of this perk rebalance, we've also updated several archetype perks. For example, Talent Developer now has the Draft Dividends perk, which awards 3,000 bonus XP when your players are drafted. The CEO Archetype's Big Game Bonus now provides this for each college football playoff win as opposed to only national championship wins. While progression is the engine of your coaching journey, archetypes are the blueprint for how your coach grows and where your strengths lie. In College Football 26, we've made a number of updates to how archetypes are unlocked, balanced, and expanded, all with the goal of making each coaching path more strategic and distinct. To start, the three base archetypes recruiter, motivator, and tactician now require a minimum coach level to unlock. This change encourages more focused investment early in your career, making that initial archetype choice even more meaningful. It's no longer a quick jump between archetypes. Instead, your coach will grow into their identity over time. This helps reinforce the rock, paper, scissors relationship, not just between archetypes, but also between you and your coordinators. Choosing a staff that complements or counters your strengths is more important than ever. We've also introduced scaling archetype costs. Each archetype you unlock becomes incrementally more expensive, encouraging more intentional choices as your coaching journey evolves. Archetypes that are closely related to your current specialization will cost significantly less than those that require you to learn a new skill set. For example, if you start as a recruiter, becoming an elite recruiter will be much cheaper than trying to learn a completely new skill set and becoming a motivator. Just like in real life, it's easier to grow within an existing area of expertise than to take on a new and unrelated skill set. Gotcha. So, Marcus Freeman being a program builder, winning together, he gets 75 bonus XP when a school grade or prestige increases. He also becoming a scheme guru, which is 30 coin coach points or whatever. He would then receive 450 bonus XP for each win, which is cool. Whereas if he is looking to become a motivator, he gets 7 bonus XP whenever a player levels up. That would cost him double the points at 60, which again I think is pretty cool. Um, but eventually you're going to have to save up and get there, right? Because depending on how, like, he's a program builder now, but like I would assume in order to get to a CEO, they still have the same, responsibilities of being able to unlock, however many archetypes to even be able to trigger that. So program builder and CEO archetypes are the exceptions, as broader leadership focused archetypes rather than specific coaching disciplines. They are not impacted by scaling costs and remain more accessible once you meet their unlock requirements. It's always easier to learn a new skill set when you're working alongside someone who's already mastered it. That idea is reflected in the friends and family discount ability within the program builder archetype, which reduces the cost of unlocking archetypes already owned by another coach. Scaling archetype costs make it even more important that you surround yourself with the right people. The right staff doesn't just support your strategy on the field, it can shape the path of your growth off it too. Every coaching decision you make matters. Now that's cool. That's cool that having, good coaches around you that also will, those deficits. So like if they have other arcs that you don't have in order to give you a slight discount, I think that's huge. That's actually really, really dope. So shout out to them for thinking that far ahead and even implementing something like that. Alongside these structural changes, we've also rebalanced the abilities within each archetype. This rebalance creates clearer trade offs between archetypes, further emphasizing the rock, paper, scissors relationship between coaching styles. In addition, we've adjusted the cost of abilities within each archetype tier to better reflect their impact and importance, encouraging more thoughtful progression as you build out your coach. We've also added new abilities across your various archetypes, giving you even more ways to specialize and differentiate your coaching identity over time. So you're a talent developer, you're on your defensive line abilities. So the first tier is pay it forward, bonus XP for defensive line when they're drafted. The defensive line whisperer gives you freshman and sophomore defensive line will progress faster. Your star maker, your starting defensive lineman will gain XP faster, and then tier 4 of that, which is 12 points, it will boost to pipeline bonus for defensive linemen, which is pretty dope. Pretty dope. The coach carousel. We introduced the foundation of the carousel last year, and in College Football 26, we've added more polished feedback and quality of life improvements to make it easier to track movement and make smarter staff decisions. You'll now receive notifications when your coordinators accept or decline job offers, as well as alerts when one is poached for a new opportunity. Whether they're leaving for a promotion or jumping ship unexpectedly, you'll stay informed and ready to react. Timmy Chang has accepted your offer to become offensive coordinator for next season. Outstanding. With coordinators playing such a pivotal role in your team's performance and your coach's overall development, we've added 3 new program builder abilities that give you more control over the hiring and retention process. Outstanding. I love to hear that. Forever home. Your coordinators are less likely to leave for another job. Deal sweetener. Your coordinators overall are more likely to accept your job offer. And then cream of the crop increases the caliber of coordinators available for you to hire. I think that's really cool again. We've also rebalanced offer logic so that head coaches at top tier programs now receive better and more consistent job opportunities when the carousel spins. If you've earned your spot among the elite, the market will better reflect it. And finally, within the staff move screen, you can now view each coach's previous role and school, their new role and destination, the reason for the job change, whether they were promoted, fired, or simply found a better fit. You'll have more context for every coaching movement. So here we go, Dabo Sweeney. He's a level 1 CEO. His job security is safe for now. His alma mater is Alabama. He's 190 and 51 with Alabama. He's 190 and 51 overall, which isn't accurate because Dabo Sweeney is not at Alabama. He's in, whatchamacallit. Dabo Sweeney is, what's the orange team? Why can't I think of the dang name of the team of the university? Clemson. That's what I'm thinking of. He was Clemson. Oh, I see. He was previous school Clemson and new school is Alabama. I see that now. I was like, what? Dabo Sweeney ain't never been in Alabama? I see that now. Cool. That is cool, though. I like this. This is a nice little, like they said, this is a nice little quality of life update right here. So Clemson, Alabama. Jim Mora left UConn to go to Utah. Brent Bielema, however you say it, left Illinois to go to Washington. All that good jazz. Oh, something just happened. What was that? We got a new follow? Oh, yeah. First in the building. Appreciate you. Oh, that's Kels. Appreciate you, Kels. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. So, yeah. There's a lot of good stuff coming. A lot of good stuff. And we ain't even barely a quarter of the way done. So the trophy room is cool. Transporter, deal breakers. Let's see what else we got here. Evolving expectations. Yeah, there's a lot of all right, so some of this stuff we'll skim. It's not that. I mean, it's cool, but it ain't that important. No audio alerts over here. Oh, I heard it in my ears. That's how I knew you did it. It's because I had it muted at first. Here you go. Watch this. You ready? Hold on. No, I don't want to report you. That seems unnecessary. Did you hear it that time? You should have heard it that time. Yeah. So the trophy room, I'm glad to see it's back. I love that there's trophies across different I love that they're across different situations. Meaning that I love that they are it says capture cursor, but it ain't there. Doesn't matter. I love Yeah, I don't know why I did that, but yeah, sorry about that. So loud. Yeah, I don't know why I just. I have no idea why I just did that, but whatever. Um, I love that the trophy room is not uh only Dynasty. I love that Road to Glory has trophies. I love that Road to the College Football Playoff has trophies, and then that there's also rivalry trophies. I think that that's really dope. I hope that they will continue to expand upon that, um, because I think that it's cool that they have everything in a single place, right? So like you will receive a notification. So as you play through your dynasty, every time you win a rivalry game, bowl game, conference championship, national championship, or even an individual award, you will receive a notification and a trophy will be added to your trophy room. You can access it anytime from the Dynasty Hub or from the main menu and your global profile. Each dynasty you create has its own dedicated trophy room tied to your coach, tracking every trophy you've earned for team based achievements. You'll see the season, year, team, opponent, and final score of the game. For individual awards, you'll see the player who won, the team they were on, and the year they took home the hardware. You can also select any trophy to view more detailed information, including the trophy's history and significance in college football. In total, there are more than 160 rivalry, bowl, and individual award trophies to collect. Whether you're flexing your fifth Heisman, third Natty, or just looking back on the legends that defined your dynasty, the trophy room is built to celebrate your legacy. Every dynasty has its greats, those unforgettable players who become stories we tell for years. Now their names and moments live on, immortalized forever in your trophy room. And it's not just limited to Dynasty. The trophy room is global across all modes, including Road to Glory, Play Now, and Road to the College Football Playoff. So no matter how you play, your accomplishments are remembered. That's cool. I think that's dope. Talent acquisition and roster management remain at the forefront of college football. How you approach building and keeping your roster has never been more important. The transfer portal continues to grow and evolve, becoming an even bigger force in shaping programs across the country. Whether you're reloading through high school recruiting or retooling through the portal, your success depends on how well you execute your strategy and continue to evolve with players' ever changing expectations. In CFB 26, we still have the same core goals in mind, making recruiting feel personal, differentiating players and regions, making the portal even more authentically unpredictable. From the way prospects evaluate schools to how expectations evolve over time, building your program now means more than just landing talent. It's about understanding it, developing it, and keeping it. Transfer portal will see a consistent pool of around 2,000 players, which is crazy. An 85 overall freshman quarterback will be scored higher than an 85 overall senior guard. So that's part of the rebalancing. We also changed how we assign star ratings to transfer prospects. Players were assigned their star rating based on their overall. Now, star rating is more heavily influenced by a player's position and class year. Transfer portal isn't just a mechanic, it's a philosophical choice. Do you build for the future with high school talent or lean into immediate impact veterans from the portal? It's a real world debate playing out across college football. Programs like Colorado have leaned heavily on the portal, flipping their rosters into a single offseason. Meanwhile, schools like Clemson have committed to developing high school talent through long term investments. In CFB 26, both paths are viable and have distinct trade offs. This also applies to retaining your own roster and managing player expectations is just as important as recruiting new talent. In today's game, players want more playing time, more exposure, more alignment with their goals, and sometimes those expectations change over time. Do 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 do. Deal breakers. They talked about that a pretty good amount and how That same logic now applies. Five-star prospects, highly rated players, and quarterbacks will evaluate playing time, even if it isn't their listed deal breaker. If they're not getting on the field or they see a log jam ahead, they may decide it's time to leave. This helps prevent stockpiling talent in a way that doesn't reflect real world behavior and makes roster management feel more dynamic and authentic. Got you. I like that. Okay, that they're using, excuse me, that they're using real life scenarios, right? So, like in 2016, Alabama's quarterback led the team to the national championship game as a true freshman. In 2017, he returned and once again helped Alabama reach the title game, but he was benched at halftime. The following season, he lost the starting job, only to later lead a dramatic comeback in the SEC championship game. While his initial motivations were centered around competing for championships and the best conference, his priorities eventually shifted. Entering his final season of eligibility, playing time became top of mind. He transferred to Oklahoma, where he put together a Heisman caliber season. Anybody want to tell me the name of that quarterback? I know the name of that quarterback. He recently just won the Super Bowl. I'll tell you that much. So I think his choices worked out for him. But yeah, it'll be cool to see stuff like that. Redshirting comes with a risk. Do you want to redshirt a player and limit his playing time at the risk of him leaving in the offseason due to a lack of playing time? This also prevents your friend in your online dynasty from being a cheese artist and redshirting every player on their roster, even when a guy is a borderline starter. Look at that. Tell the truth. See, they paid attention. They paid attention. And they definitely enjoyed asking these questions. I will tell you that much. They enjoyed asking these questions. So they're listening. They're listening and they're paying attention. I think that's great for everybody. I truly do. I think it's great for everybody. There's really no reason that we should be out here redshirting every single piece of talent and getting away with it. So I love to see that they actually paid attention to those type of things happening and have made proper adjustments. Evolving expectations kind of just speaks. So this is what's interesting, right? So like they speak about NIL in here, but like we don't have NIL money yet, right? So it's like with his rising profile, he expected more, especially in the NIL space. Tennessee ultimately chose not to meet those expectations, and he decided to transfer to UCLA as a result. This is just one of many stories we've seen in today's college football landscape where players' priorities evolve naturally over time and decisions to enter the transfer portal stem from more than just playing time or fit. College football now reflects this behavior, creating a world that feels organic, reactive, and alive. So, like, but what if I. So, is NIL essentially tied to the brand deal breaker? Is that what we're assuming then? Is that. So, NIL and brand are a thing? Is that. I'm assuming that's how they work. Well, I mean, we'll have to see what happens over the next couple of years because maybe I just want to offer him a little bit more NIL money. You know what I'm saying? How you build your coaching staff can significantly impact your ability to manage evolving players, expectations, and retain your roster. To help with evolving player expectations, you can purchase the Lower the Bar ability in the Strategist archetype. This lowers the grade threshold required to meet a player's deal breaker up to a maximum of a full letter grade. You can also purchase the Family Atmosphere ability within the Master Motivator archetype, which makes players less likely to transfer if their deal breaker has been broken. If players do decide to leave, abilities within the Program Builder archetype can help. Gift of Gab, additional persuasion attempts, roster retainer, increased chance of persuading a player to stay, and full refund. Get an additional persuasion attempt if one of your attempts is successful. That's dope. That's dope. As expectations evolve, so too must your coaching strategy. The players you recruit as freshmen may not be the same player or have the same demands when they are upperclassmen. How you manage that growth and evolving expectations will significantly impact how successful you are. Unless I just want to win all the time with a bunch of freshmen and sophomore, I'm just saying. Transfer portal customization. Interesting. The addition of the conference prestige deal breaker and improved playing time logic, the CFB 26 transfer portal is more reactive and unpredictable. While this brings the chaos of modern college football to life, we also want you to have the tools to customize that experience and make it your own. Whether you want a wild, modern era portal or a throwback to the days when transferring was far less common, you now have full control over how the transfer portal behaves in your dynasty. Max transfers per team. Adjust how many players can transfer from a single team, 0 to 30. Setting this to 0 disables the portal entirely for a more traditional experience. Scale how likely players on user controlled teams are to transfer if their deal breaker is violated. And you can do the same thing with CPU, do the same for CPU, allowing you to align or differentiate how the AI handles player retention. My school, what is your identity? Across 14 core categories, in addition to the playing time improvements we outlined earlier, which now consider actual snaps played, we've made several key updates across the My School system to deepen realism and improve differentiation between programs. We've rebalanced the grade curve across all 14 categories. Fewer teams now sit in the A or B range, meaning most schools will fall somewhere between D and C, creating more visible separation between the haves and have nots and making meaningful improvements something you'll need to earn over time. One of the biggest changes this year comes in pro potential. Previously, this grade estimated a program's ability to produce NFL talent based on the current roster. Now, pro potential is based on a school's historical draft results over the past 4 seasons and is tracked by position. This means you can now clearly see which schools are consistently sending talent to the next level and truly who deserves the title of wide receiver U. Gotcha. That makes sense. And I like that actually. I think that makes a lot of sense. Because then you figure if you have been able to create, I need this game like now, telling you, McCarley. Because in the sense of if you're able to create consistent draft prospects, like then that obviously gives you a chance. Like, I love the fact that everything is evolving and like living, right? Because like last year it was very just static. It was just there. And a lot of this stuff didn't change. But now that they're taking data and correlating data over the last 4 years, that gives you an opportunity for you and your program to now change that data. I think that's great because a lot of the stuff last year was just static. So I love that it's not so static this year and it's a lot more dynamic. We've also made improvements to playing style, the stat driven grade tied to how your team performs on the field. Every archetype, including the new ones added, has had its playing style tracking reevaluated. Last year, many defensive player types were overly reliant on individual stats like interceptions or tackles for loss, often leading to small sample skews. This year, more player types, especially on defense, evaluate team level stats like average passing yards allowed or rushing yards allowed per game. The result is a more stable, fair reflection of how your program actually plays. Formation subs and Dynasty is such a huge dub. Yeah. Well, that along with the fact that they also rebalanced the wear and tear system, I think is it's a tied together. As part of these updates, we've also reevaluated and adjusted the starting grades for every team to better reflect their real world standing and to take full advantage of the new grading distribution. Location based recruiting. It's easier and cheaper to get a player to campus when they live nearby. Driving 100 miles is a very different challenge than flying across the country. We've replicated that reality through location based recruiting. The cost of a visit is now tied directly to how close a recruit is to your campus, making geography a meaningful factor in your weekly recruiting strategy. The higher a recruiter's proximity to home grade with your school, the cheaper it will be to bring them in for a visit. Costs can range from as low as 10 recruiting hours for nearby players to as high as 40 hours for cross country visits. Now, see, that's another W. But also, you have to think about where you want to be, like where you want to be a coach at, a coordinator at, because now that changes that definition of, it changes how you would have to use your hours and your what's the word I'm looking for, resources. So I enjoy that a lot, actually. And one that forces you to think more strategically about where your targets are located. Bingo. Talk to him, boy. What is that thing called that I was using? No, hold on. Controls, ground control. There it is. Log out, log in. Nope. Hold on. Sorry, y'all. Why is this not working? Log in. Or not. That's fine. You don't have to. I don't know, whatever. My windows are all busted. I don't care. So yeah, that's cool to see. And CFB 25, every visit costs a flat 40 hours, which often made it cost prohibitive to bring recruits to campus, especially if you're working with a limited budget. Now visits are much more efficient for local and regional players, but flying in a top recruit from across the country still comes at a premium. All of these changes are exactly why, or like all of these changes are directly correlated to a lot of the exploits last year. And I think that's really, like, I love the fact that they are, like, one of the things that took me out of Dynasty last year was the amount of recruiting exploits people were using. Because it just became like, it was like if you actually tried to give a real life experience in recruiting to a small school, like you didn't feel like following the YouTube videos out there and stuff like you were always behind. You know what I'm saying? And so you're watching all your other friends land all these 4 and 5 star recruits while you're landing all these 2 and 3 star recruits. So I hope now, with a lot of these changes, that it got. Oh, welcome back. I'm hoping now that you'll see a lot of these changes reflect the inability to exploit recruiting so much. That's what I'm hopeful for. Uh, but flying in a top recruit from across the country still comes at a premium, one that power programs may be able to absorb, while smaller schools will need to pick their spots. To help you maximize your visits, the CEO archetype now includes a new ability, more the merrier. This ability doubles the number of players who can visit your campus in a single week, increasing the cap from 4 to 8 total visitors. That extra flexibility can make a big difference during critical stretches of the season, especially when you're juggling high priority targets or trying to align visit timing for multiple recruits. Again, huge. If you're running a staff with a coordinator who's an active archetype strategist, the benefits can stack even further. Strategist perk grants bonus XP for every recruit who visits during a win. So if you're hosting a full slate of 8 visitors, you have the potential to significantly boost coach XP across the board. As we covered earlier, active archetype perks are now one of the most important drivers of coach progression, and this type of coordination between abilities can have a massive impact on how quickly your staff levels up throughout a season. I do love that coordinators matter even more. I think that they kind of got overlooked last year. So, like, them having the ability to stack and actually bring meaningful um, XP gains is huge, huge. Location based recruiting creates a sharper divide between the haves and have nots and reinforce the importance of building a recruiting strategy that reflects your program's reach, identity, and resources. I'm about that life. Okay? I'm about it. Scouting is a critical part. All right, so here we go. Because this one also another. These are just again more. Um, these are more quality of life updates that I think are huge. Scouting is a critical part of identifying what player fits your program and which recruits you want to go after. Coaches often refer to them as finding their OKGs, our kind of guys. In CFB 26, we've made two key improvements to the scouting system to make it easier to use and more impactful as you build your recruiting board. First, we've reordered how attributes are displayed during scouting, ensuring that shared ratings across archetypes appear in a consistent order for every position. In college football 25, this often made comparing prospects at the same position frustrating, especially when the same ratings would appear in different spots, depending on the archetype. Now, when you're comparing two players at the same position, regardless of archetype, you'll see their shared attributes lined up the same way every time, making comparisons easier. Love that. Yeah, because that was annoying. Second, we've expanded the power of mind reader ability within the strategist archetype. Previously, mind reader only revealed a recruit's development trait during a campus visit, which often came too late to meaningfully influence your recruiting decisions. Now, if you possess mind reader for a recruit's position group, you'll be able to reveal their dev trait directly through scouting, giving you a critical head start in identifying high potential prospects early in the cycle. Knowing which players have a huge potential upside and are truly special talents is now a strategic edge you can learn and identify early in the recruiting process to maximize how you spend your recruiting hours. I almost feel uh like they have so many of these archetypes have different and yeah, it's going to be real important to build a squad around you. Like to build a good set of either you're coming cuz we're going to come in as a coordinator, but making sure where we I wonder if we'll be able to see the head coach and the other coordinators of the schools that we're trying to decide on. That's research and because having you guys work in cohesion is going to be so clutch this year. It's going to be so clutch. And then they've added recruiting battles. You know what I'm saying? This is crazy. You're it's going to be so clutch. In college football 25, there were moments when two schools were locked in a close recruiting race, and it wasn't always clear why one team ultimately won out. When both programs were neck and neck, it could feel a little random which school landed the commitment. Now, when one school reaches the commitment threshold and another is right behind them, a recruiting battle will be triggered. The recruit won't commit right away, and instead they will set a new higher commitment threshold, giving both schools a short window to make that one final push. It's not a long extension, just enough to create space for a true head to head finish. From that point on, it becomes a race. Whichever school reaches the new commitment threshold first secures the commitment. This is when you pull out all the stops. It's a dead sprint to the finish line. Do everything you can to push across the threshold before your rival does, because once that new threshold is hit, that recruit is off the board. So I wonder if you will you know that information, because it doesn't really say here where that threshold is. But I wonder, and then what else can you even do? What other recruiting options can you really get? And finally, recruit generation. We've increased the number of recruits generated each season to 4,100. Sheesh. You'll still be able to find high level attributes and silver or gold tier abilities, the kind of elite prospects that can transform a program, but there will be fewer of them overall. We also reworked how pitches and deal breakers are assigned to better reflect the wants and needs of players today. Glamour positions like quarterback, running back, wide receiver, corner, and edge rusher now put a much heavier emphasis on brand exposure to better reflect their expectations around NIL opportunities. Got it. To sway or not to sway. Sway is one of the most powerful tools in the recruiting arsenal, but it's also one of the most misunderstood. In College Football 26, we've made several improvements to make this feature clearer, more actionable, and easier to take advantage of when your school doesn't fully align with a recruit's motivations. Sway is designed for those moments when your my school grades don't match up with a prospect's ideal pitch, or when you want to expand what a recruit cares about to include another pitch that plays to your strengths. A successful sway allows you to add a second ideal pitch, giving you more flexibility in how you engage with that recruit. In some cases, it can even unlock a third ideal pitch by creating additional overlaps. This year, when you select the sway action, you'll now see the probability of success before making your move, giving you much more clarity around when and how to take your shot. Your chance of success increases based on how much motivational overlap exists between the pitch you're trying to sway a recruit toward and their existing ideal pitch. For example, if the two pitches share two motivations, your odds are much higher than if they only share one, and that difference is now clearly reflected in the UI. Got it. Got it. That makes sense to me. Once a sway is successful, you'll see visual indicators both in the left recruiting board list and next to the specific motivations the recruit now cares about. These new markers make it easy to identify recruits you have successfully swayed. Fire. I like that a lot, actually. Nice. Your chances of success still depend on overlap, but players looking to maximize their odds can unlock the persuasive personality ability and the recruiter archetype. It gives you a critical edge in situations where you're trying to open up new recruiting paths, especially when you're trailing and need to shift the balance in your favor. Used correctly, sway can completely change the dynamic of a recruiting battle, giving you an angle of attack that other schools simply don't have. Fire. Here we go. Quality of life, because this is what is also very important, and it sounds like they did a good job. So, we made a number of quality of life improvements across the entire recruiting experience, helping you spend less time digging through menus and more time making meaningful decisions. Up first, Team Needs was only accessible by pressing R3. While the screen could be accessed at any time from anywhere within the recruiting hub, many players simply missed it or found it inconvenient to jump between views just to check their positional needs. So in 26, we've brought Team Needs front and center by pinning it to the top of the prospect list. This makes it easy to quickly identify what your team needs at a glance while you're adding prospects to your board. So I don't understand why that wasn't there to begin with. If I'm being completely honest, like, what is the purpose of recruiting if you're not recruiting your team's needs? But I'm glad to see that it was quickly resolved. That was just always funny to me. I thought that not being like front and center and up there when you were doing recruiting was kind of interesting to me, anyways. Because did they want you like emotionally recruiting or like what? But I'm glad to see that this made its way up there. The module updates in real time as you add or remove players, helping you make informed decisions in the moment. This module is meant to provide a quick summary of your immediate roster needs, while the full team needs screen, which includes a year by year breakdown, your overall grade at each position, is still accessible by pressing the right stick. In the recruiting board, you'll now see up and down arrows appear on the left hand list next to each recruit's name. These arrows indicate whether you've moved up or down on the recruit's top schools list compared to the previous week. Make it easy to quickly identify which recruits are trending in your favor and which ones may require a shift in strategy or signal that something in the recruitment dynamic has changed week over week. Once a recruit has entered the pitch stage and narrowed their top schools list to 5, a red dot will appear during the first week to let you know that the new recruiting actions are available. Additionally, the recruit's stage indicator on the left-hand list will become highlighted, making it easier to spot which players are close to committing. Outstanding. so you can make sure that you focus and give them the attention they require to get the commitment before your competitors do. Again, I really like that. In college football 25, it was easy to lose track of key recruits you wanted to monitor week over week. In college football 26, you can now favorite recruits by double tapping, triangle, or Y. Favoriting acts as a bookmark, a simple way to highlight the recruits you're prioritizing or want to remember as the season progresses. It allows you to stay focused on your top targets, keep tabs on competitive battles, and make sure you're not missing out on critical follow up actions. We've also added a new filter that lets you quickly view only your favorited recruits, helping you stay locked in on your most important prospect. What's good, TKO? How you been, man? And finally, we've added a set of advanced search filters to give you more ways to filter and search the prospect list to identify prospects who meet your needs or are potential targets for your team. Maximum star rating, minimum pipeline level, and recruiting stage. Why would we want to do minimum pipeline level? Don't you want to do a maximum pipeline level? Right? Isn't it? Uh, I guess I never really understood the pipeline thing. Right? So, like their pipeline tier, do you want it to go up or do you want it to go down? I need somebody to break that part down for me. I'm great and understand a lot of things, but like, yeah, the pipeline thing, I don't know if I wanted to have a low number or a high number. Like, is pipeline tier 4 or 5 the best? Is it better than 1? Like, that's what I'm trying to find out. Right? Because, like, 2 is silver and 5 is pink. But pink aligns with, like, their Hall of Fame badges, doesn't it? Like, attributes, right? Like, pink is higher badges and attributes, so I probably want to have a 5. Never mind. I'm figuring it out. I just figured it out that fast. That was silly of me. All right. Where are we at? Player progression, player development's at the core. Full potential prevent you from realizing your dreams of winning a national championship. We've rebalanced and expanded how progression works to create more player differentiation, realism, and separation between programs. Great. Living in the Iron Paradise. At times in college football 25, players will go long stretches without any progression, only to suddenly take a big leap when they finally leveled up a skill group. In college football, it comes out on the 7th of July. We have increased the number of skill group levels from 10 to 20, allowing for more gradual and natural progression. A player's development trait also plays a bigger role in off-season progression. While there's still variability in how much a player develops during the off-season, players with impact, star, and elite development traits now have a higher minimum amount they will progress. This increases the likelihood that players with a better development trait will progress more than players with a normal trait. Every year, we see freshmen arrive on campus and undergo significant physical changes during their first season. Now when your players hit the Iron Paradise and put in the work during the offseason, you will also see physical changes to their body. Players will now gain weight during offseason progression. The amount they gain is influenced by their player position and year in school. This simulates the real world difference in physical maturity between a freshman and a senior. Lastly, your school's athletic facilities grade in my school now increases the amount of progression your players receive. No different than the real world, where the schools with the best sports performance and nutrition programs seemingly perform at a higher level than the rest. The higher your facilities grade is, the bigger your player progression boost will be. Athletic facilities are just another factor that contributes to long term program building and highlights the divide between powerhouses and those still finding their footing. Physical abilities. As Scott described in the gameplay deep dive, we've introduced new physical and mental abilities this year. In addition to the new physical abilities, we've also modified the requirements to unlock physical ability tiers. Previously, all physical abilities required a single attribute level to unlock each tier. For example, 95 toughness to unlock Platinum Workhorse. Now, some abilities like Shifty require 2 attribute ratings to upgrade them. For example, Platinum Shifty now requires both 97 change of direction, and 96 acceleration for a wide receiver. These added thresholds make top tier abilities even rarer, further increasing player differentiation. They've also completely overhauled our archetype system, introducing new player types and physical ability combinations that better reflect the diversity of players across college football. Gotcha. Now we get to see training results. Nice. Can now see exactly how much each attribute increased, which is a W. That's great. Manual progression. If you're looking for more direct control over how your players develop, you can now enable manual progression in league settings. Manual progression is an individual team setting, so it does not require all members of an online dynasty to have the same setting. If you choose to enable manual progression, your players will earn skill points like normal. However, they will never automatically spend them to progress their attributes and abilities. You can see how many skill points each player has accumulated in the player module anywhere a player is shown in a spreadsheet or within their player card. Look at this. Manual progression can offer a significant advantage in shaping player growth, so when it's turned on, it comes with a default 25 progression nerf to help maintain balance. This nerf is fully customizable by the Dynasty Commissioner. It can be turned off completely or increased to 100% to fully prevent users from auto progressing players. Wait a minute. Manual progression can offer a significant advantage in shaping player growth. So when it's turned on, it comes with a default 25% progression nerf. This nerf is fully customizable by the Dynasty Commissioner. It can be turned off completely or increased to 100% to fully prevent users from auto progressing players. I feel like they wrote that wrong. I feel like if you turn it to 100%, oh, right, to fully prevent users from, well, but wouldn't it be from from manually progressing players? I'm so confused why they wrote it like that. I'm assuming that they're saying you either have to do manual or auto. Uh, but yeah, that's interesting that they do that. We didn't even have the option for manual last year, so I love that the option for manual is here this year. I don't love that they automatically gave it a nerf, but I mean, obviously it can be adjusted. But I do love that you can manually do that because last year you couldn't. So it is nice to see that at least this year you can. Position changes. As you evaluate changing a player's position, the player module on the right side of the screen will display a preview of which abilities the player would retain at the selected position. The player's development trait will stay the same, ensuring a consistent growth rate as they adapt to their new position. That's cool. That's cool. Managing wear and tear. Much like a boxer, a football's body can only take so many hits before it starts to break down. It's not just about whether a player is injured, it's about how their body responds to the physical demands of the season. Every hit adds up, and as our friend OG says, not all hits are created equal. Some players are able to endure the wear and tear over the long term, while others wear down under the weight of repeated impacts. Season and career health. Now has season. All right. Every player now has season and career health pools that determine how much wear and tear damage they can recover in a single season and over the course of their career. Each time a player recovers wear and tear damage, it draws from these pools. Once the season health pool is depleted, That player can no longer recover wear and tear damage until the offseason when they fully recover. We saw the effects of season health play out in last year's national championship game. Entering the matchup, Notre Dame's quarterback had logged a career high 167 career high 167 rushing attempts on the season. 53 of those coming in just the last 3 games. On the opening drive, he led an 18-play, 75-yard touchdown march, carrying the ball 9 more times. That drive alone added a significant amount of wear and tear, and when combined with the workload he'd taken all season, it was clear his body had started to break down. From that point forward, his performance dipped noticeably, and he wasn't the same player for the rest of the game. Why y'all got to put my Notre Dame fighting Irish out there like that? You know? Cool that you can see your season and career health pool right out of the gate here, so that's a W. Where can I see it? Anywhere wear and tear is displayed this year, we have also updated the player module to include a wear and tear sub panel that can be accessed with the right stick. I love that it just is very to the point this year for the auto sub strategies. Keep fresh, so prioritize rotating players out early to limit accumulated wear and tear damage. Normal, balanced approach that will keep a steady rotation. Grind it out. Players will stay on the field even when they have incurred significant wear and tear damage, and then you can create your own. Additional custom settings. Delivering the world of college football. 136 teams. Missouri State and Delaware have been added. Evolve this year, we've added Missouri State and Delaware. Outstanding. A part of college football history. All of that stuff. Speaking of awards, college football, we've added 14 authentic awards, including the Maxwell Award and the Walter Camp Award. Additionally, we've also rebalanced how defensive stats, in particular tackles for loss and sacks, are evaluated in our awards logic. Let's see. Fantastic. In addition to the college football history, you can now view all of a player's awards and accolades from their player card. Fantastic. Just like the community, we are stat junkies. We believe the numbers tell the story. This year, we've expanded stat tracking across players, teams, and conferences to give you a fuller, more detailed view of performance throughout Dynasty. Tie goes to the runner. It could be difficult to understand how conference tiebreakers were resolved or why one team advanced over another. This year, we made it a priority to bring clarity and transparency to that process. The updated logic is designed to better align with how real-world conferences settle their standings and to ensure outcomes make sense at a glance. So, the improved tiebreaker logic. First, we look at the head-to-head record between tied teams. If the teams didn't all play each other or the head-to-head doesn't resolve the tie, we check the team's record against common conference opponents. And then if they are still tied, we will use the college football playoff ranking to determine placement. So, let's say a conference ends the regular season with a 3-way tie for first place between Team A, B, and C. All 3 finish conference play with identical 7-1 records. Great. Team A beat Team B, Team B beat Team C, and Team C beat Team A. Well, that's a bunch of bullshit. So each team is 1-1 against the other 2. So the head-to-head tiebreaker doesn't resolve the tie. Ridiculous. So here we go. Now against common conference opponents, all 3 teams went 4-0. Here we go. Then it would look at the college football playoff ranking. Team A is ranked 12th. Team B is ranked 17th. Team B is ranked 21st. Team A wins the tiebreaker based on the highest college football playoff ranking and advances to the conference championship game. In addition to improved tiebreaker logic, we have also added columns showing a team's point differential and average margin of victory. When entering conference standings, the screen now defaults to your team's conference, so the information that matters most is front and center. Got it. Stat padding. We've also added deeper stat tracking for both individual players and entire teams. That's a whole lot. Team stats: total yards per game, rushing yards per game, passing yards per game, yards per play, sacks per game, points allowed per game, pass yards allowed per game, rush yards allowed per game, and yards per game, penalties per game, games played. New positions and archetypes. We've got all kinds of stuff. So, like Sam and Will, Mike is replacing middle linebacker. They've got long snapper, gadget for trick play specialist, nose tackle, specifically used in the 3-4. And then, yeah, there's a whole slew of new unique archetypes. Slew. I mean, just ridiculous. And it sounds like we're getting a lot of these archetypes in Madden as well, which I'm actually pretty excited about. Formation subs coming to college football is awesome. I use that a ton in Madden, the formation subs. So like that being in college football is nice. Love that. Custom conferences and protected opponents. The protected opponents is cool. So you can lock in annual matchups regardless of divisional alignment. The custom conferences is already a thing, so that's a W. And then scheduling updates. All known future season games, including kickoff games, have been added through 2040. That's like 15 years. Love that. World of College Football Playoff is now up to 12, so that's a W. More quality of life, quick access to player info, player stats and attributes everywhere. Development traits in the player module, that's huge. Quick access to team schedule, also really nice. Members tab, all that is cool. Oh, nice. Members tab. In Dynasty Hub, we have added a new tab called Members. That's good. For each team, it shows their username, team, top 25 ranked current week. Members tab is now where you'll make all of your commissioner actions like adding or removing players, toggling autopilot, promoting or demoting, transferring dynasty ownership, inviting new users to join the dynasty. Crossplay, you can now run a 32-person online dynasty. Fantastic. You'll need to have internet connection. Pre-order bonus. Here's where people need to pay attention. For the first time in a long time, even if you are just a dynasty player, it is worth it to pre-order because they are giving you a bonus of 100 coach points when you start a dynasty. This bonus applies to every dynasty you start and is in addition to the 1,000 coach points you can earn over time through progression. So it's giving you an early edge when shaping your coaching identity. Okay? So let me say that. Okay? Let me make sure that I say this again. If you're an offline guy, it is worth it to do the pre-order bonus because you get 100 bonus points, 100 bonus coach points, okay? For us online guys, you can turn it off, all right? So, like, if not everybody pre-ordered the game, they waited until the day of, whatever the case is, you want to keep it balanced, you can turn it off. You can disable pre-order bonuses within the league settings, all right? Again, there's a bunch more stuff. Dynamic time of day, Super Sim tempo adjustments, broken records feedback, which is nice because we didn't get any of this stuff last year. Coach stats, force win updates, combined opponent records, Advanced week confirmation, sim to points, red shirt updates, scouting ability info. If you'd like to know what an ability is when scouting a player, you can highlight the ability on the right side panel and it'll display a tooltip informing you what that ability does. Increased spreadsheet row count. All right, we've increased the number of rows you can see in multiple spreadsheet sheets to now display up to 700 rows of stats, giving you better insight into the nation's best players. And when you're in the prospect list and transfer portal, you can now display 600 rows instead of 300. And Team Builder is back. And it allows you to import teams from last year, which is pretty fire. So when they launched Team Builder last year, they were blown away by the creativity and passion from the community. It was incredible to watch players not only build their own teams, but also help others bring their fantasy creations to life with templates and other assets. We loved seeing everything you put together, and we can't wait to see what you build next. Just like Dynasty Mode, Team Builder is part of a multi-year vision for us, one where we continue to expand and deepen the experience over time. Last year was about laying the foundation. This year, we launched Team Builder as a beta, and now we are removing that tag. Our team has been hard at work polishing and improving the overall site performance. Team Builder now has a completely new look. The site is 2 times faster. Overall rendering performance is greatly improved. So Team Builder will now work on a wider array of devices and lower end machines. In addition to performance updates, College Football 26 was about building on the foundation we built with even tighter integration into Dynasty and more customization. In College 25, you were limited to 10 custom images per team. In College 26, you now have an upload limit of 5 megabytes per team. This means you can upload as many custom images and textures as you want until you hit the 5 megabyte limit, increasing your creative power. 5 megabytes, if you don't know, if you know what you're doing, and then you obviously look at like the size and stuff that you're doing it on, 5 megabytes is a lot. Not gonna lie to you. So that is pretty impressive. You can import your teams from last year, defining your program. You get the option now to define your program if you're a championship your program tradition. So you could just create a powerhouse if you want to. You know what I mean? Within the program tab, you'll now be able to choose your starting grades, which is pretty cool. Again, just gives you more creativity to have more fun within the Dynasty world. So if your local team didn't make it, you'll be able to do it. You know what I'm saying? You can, again, go in there and do your bio and appearance, skill ratings, abilities, player archetypes, and all that good jazz. You can choose all of that. We've added 3 generic stadiums and a high school stadium to give you more flexibility when creating or customizing your team. All generic stadiums are small to medium sized and do not feature any team branding. Pipelines are a powerful part of the Dynasty recruiting experience. Having a stronghold in a particular part of the country can completely change your recruiting dynamic. Within the program tab, you can fully customize your pipelines, including where your team has recruiting influence and how strong that influence is. Each pipeline is assigned a tier from 1 to 5, 5 representing the strongest, tier 1 being the weakest. I was right. You can set up rivalries, post-game speech. If you've made it this far, the blog isn't just a feature list or a change log. It's a reflection of the care, passion, purpose that this team brings to Dynasty Mode every single day. We're continuing to build on the foundation we laid last year, always with one goal at the center: satisfy the core community because this is their game. Mindset's never wavered. The team is fully rallied behind it and what we've built together. And College Football 26 is something we're incredibly proud of, but this is just year 2 of a multi-year journey, and we're incredibly excited about where we're going. To the community, don't lose your passion and excitement. That energy is the fuel that drives us. Your support, your feedback, and your love for this game are the reason we're here, and we never take that for granted. With that being said, we will see you again soon for the next deep dive on Road to Glory and Superstar. Outstanding. Outstanding. So, look, I'll tell you guys straight up, I think that what they're doing is fantastic. Everything, again, on paper sounds great. We know how well it worked last year. The thing that killed it for me was just a lot of the recruiting exploits. But a lot of that stuff looks to be gone. Or at least, if it's not gone, it seems like it would be a little bit more difficult to deal with. In the essence that you're not going to be able to just go out there and get crazy amounts of 5-star recruits at small schools because you're just simply not going to have the resources. And then you also have the tapered, you know, you have the tapered, what am I trying to say here? You have the tapered off and longevity of building your coach up. I think you pair all those things together, and yeah, the game is in a really, really good place. And I think that is, again, I think that's good for everybody. I really do. I think that's good for everybody. And so, yeah, that's that's where we're at. Anyways, it is 11:30. Let me get up out of here. Uh, I'll be back again. What's today? Tuesday. I won't be back. I thought maybe I would be able to stream today a little bit longer, but realistically, I've got some football stuff to do tonight. Um, football stuff tonight. Um, so I will have a video up, kind of just like going over what I think is some of the best things and what we learned today. So that'll be up and live later on today. And then tomorrow I have to work, so I don't know what the hours are. Tomorrow just depends on what my hours are. They claim we're there 9 to 3, but I'm hoping that's not factual. So just kind of again, a lot of like just be on the lookout for the socials. If you're on, if you type exclamation point social in the chat, it'll get you all the places that you need to be. But we are going to be back on a regular capacity. I'm just trying to figure out exactly when that is. I have 3 more days of work, July 8th, 9th, and 10th, but I promise you on July 7th when we get access to college football, I'll be live for as long as I can be live. I've got to get Riley off to camp, and then I'll be live, and then I've got to pick her up from camp. So we'll be here. We'll be starting that journey and all that good jazz. We'll be looking at a lot of the new stuff, just having some fun with it. I did get a chance to play the beta, and I had a lot of fun. The game plays differently for sure, especially if you're playing on those higher difficulties. It is a challenge, and that's the way it should be. So we'll be looking to have some fun with that right out of the gate. Next week, it's just again kind of like a busy week, but I do plan on being a little bit more regular with the streams, so I'll do a good job of getting the schedule out, getting people hyped and excited, and all that good jazz. But yeah, I appreciate your patience with me. We are back on a regularly scheduled basis, and we'll once we get more into football and things like that, we'll have a conversation. But I think I'm just gonna stay. For the most part, I'll just be staying in the morning. You know what I mean? For the most part, I'll just be staying in the morning, and if we get afternoon and evening times, they'll just be special, and we'll appreciate them. So, yeah, as always, I appreciate you, 200%, 100% passion, 100% positivity, and you reap all the benefits that you seek. If you aren't subscribed to the YouTube, make sure you are. Again, exclamation point YT in the chat. I also will have it out there. But I'll see you guys in the next one. I appreciate you. Peace.